What's going on, guys? And today we have to, of course, talk about the Brooklyn Nets allegedly being open to trading anyone, according to Sam Amick from The Athletic. My assumption is the one guy who could be untouchable is Noah Clowney, because I know they really like him. But Sam Amick says what I've said for a while now. They're even willing to trade Cam Thomas. And I said the moment we found out Cam Thomas didn't agree to an extension, it was probably more than likely they were going to trade him, because I think they don't want to be the ones who pay him. And obviously you don't want to lose a player uncompensated. So who do you guys think is going to get traded? Where? And what do you guys think? I think it's good that they're going to do a full teardown, and I wonder if this means Nic Claxton also gets traded, which I do believe probably once he becomes trade eligible, which I believe is either December 15th or January 15th, one or the other. I could see the Pelicans calling. However, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? I also think Bojan Bogdanovic is just going to get bought out. Unless they have a salary filler trade done. I think regardless, even if he gets traded, he's getting bought out. I just don't see anyone keeping him. So let's get right into today's report from Sam Amick regarding potential trades and stuff like that. So Sam Amick of The Athletics reporting that the Nets are open to trade. Supposedly Cam Thomas is widely available. Even Nic Claxton, who recently signed a contract, is available. Cam Johnson, Dennis Schroder, everybody's available. And again, like I said, I think the only guy that I think might be difficult for a team to get from Brooklyn is Noah Clowney. I think he's the guy that they have a lot of faith in. So let's get right into today's video talking about Sam Amick's report, Sam Amick of The Athletic, that the Brooklyn Nets are open for trade talks, that nobody is safe. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into today's video. So Brooklyn is allegedly making anyone available for trade talks despite the competitive start to the season, writes Sam Amick of The Athletic. And like I said earlier this season, Sam Amick writes that after not reaching a contract extension with Cam Thomas, he's supposedly the most available. And like, why wouldn't he? Because you don't want to lose a player uncompensated. He's having a great year, and any contending team that needs a presence off the bench to put buckets up would be interested in him. Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Nic Claxton, everybody's available, regardless if they signed a new deal or not. I think Bojan is, like I said, is probably going to get bought out if he stays or gets traded. I think Dennis Schroder ends up in LA, regardless if it's the Clippers or Lakers, or to a contending team, maybe like a Sixers, even though they've had a terrible start. And I think Dorian Finney-Smith being packaged with a guy like Cam Thomas, where you'd be offering a team, okay, Cam Thomas, yeah, he's a expiring contract, but you get his restricted free agency, so you can match offer sheets in the offseason. And I believe you also get his bird rights, so you can go over the cap to keep him, which means you would be getting a six-man of the year type player to lead your bench in scoring. And then you'd be getting Dorian Finney-Smith, who can guard the opposing team's best offensive player, can play either the 3 or the 4. He can even be a small ball 5 at times. So I think their most valuable package is packaging Dorian Finney-Smith with Cam Thomas, because it's less than $20 million in salary. So a lot of teams are actually going to be able to do that, and there's a lot of workable contracts out there. So that's the one deal I would watch. I don't think anyone's taking Ben Simmons off their hands, guys. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. Cam Johnson and Nic Claxton both signed recently deals long-term. I've said the day that I think New Orleans has had an affinity for a long time for Nic Claxton, and that's been reported by a lot of people, and we've made videos on those reports. So for me, I think as soon as he becomes eligible, I would not be surprised if they offer up somebody for Nic Claxton, especially if everybody starts to finally be healthy on the Pelicans, and they look like they're just a center away from being a contender. Maybe that's a possibility, but I really do think the New Orleans Nic Claxton connection is the team that I would keep an eye on. Like, what other team would be willing to trade for a center like that? Everybody has their center or doesn't need one because they're rebuilding. Then Cam Johnson, I think he's more of a guy who's going to get traded in the offseason, because I've always joked around Michael Porter Jr. should be traded for Cam Johnson because I feel like Cam Johnson's cheaper and will give you the same production. But I just don't see anybody needing Cam Johnson unless an injury happens to a team that looks like they're like a championship contender, or if like the Cleveland Cavaliers are like, look, let's package like Max Strus and somebody else for Cam Johnson. And I mean, that's always a possibility. I think one of the more interesting ones are going to be then Dennis Schroder. Like I said, I don't know why, like Sixers, Clippers, Lakers, like a Lakers, Jalen Hood-Schifino and Gabe Vincent for Dennis Schroder swap. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that outlandish. What else we got right there that I think could work out? I think the idea of who else would people really want to take off this roster? I think nothing is too, crazy. It's because a lot of things are in the realm of possibility due to the fact that they're a team that's trying to, let the floor. I think they want to end the year having like Tariq Whitehead, Noah Clowney, Jalen Wilson start and finish games. I think when you just look at that, they just want have young guys, they're young dudes by the end of the year seeing it. And yeah, I think outside of the guys that we've already talked about, we've talked about Schroeder, we've talked about Bojan, we've talked about Cam Johnson, talked about Dorian Finney-Smith. I do think Cam, the best way to get value for Cam is probably packaging Cam with another guy as a maybe a trade sweetener, and then you'd also be getting yourself, I guess, we talked Claxton. We said Ben Simmons. There's no way in hell anybody's trading for that unless it's a salary dump in a 3-team trade or some absurd thing. Then Deron Sharp, if he's healthy, I think some team that needs a backup center could be hey, that's there, and you get his bird rights. I mean, his restricted free agency. Now, outside of that, I can't sit here and be honest to you and be oh, contending teams are going to want, because look, contending teams want Nic Claxton, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dennis Schroder. Dennis Schroder is the only one who's expiring, but the rest of those guys all have at least another year on their deal, so it gives you kind of flexibility if you want to move them again, or and things like that. There's old Shake Milton. I think they honestly, I think, and then like I said, I think Zaire Williams might be the type of guy they want to do a reclamation style project, re-sign him to a cheap long-term deal, and then trade him down the road and just have him kind of be grow into a leader with this team and just be kind of he's young still, but he's also a veteran at this point basically, so I could see him staying. But Shake Milton's probably gonna be attached in one of these deals. I could see Keon Johnson and Trendon Watford being traded too, as they're guys who are a bit old. They're a bit older and more experienced. At this point, they're becoming veterans as they're approaching the 4th season of their career. So that's always something. Yeah, outside of that, I think you could expect guys like Jalen Wilson, Whitehead, maybe Young GQ, and KJ. I just think a lot of people, those are going to be the type of guys who are going to be here by the end of the season. So playing, but I think everybody else is definitely open to be traded. Just if people, what's the price? Again, I think the best package is a Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Thomas. Let me hear your thoughts down below. Do you guys agree with Sam and Mek's reporting or not? Peace. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoy. You guys don't understand. This took me way. My phone was not recording. I was so mad. So mad.